Hello, and welcome to another episodic installation of your favorite, or possibly your least favorite, internet show. Love it or hate it, you better not like it. And don't let me catch you disliking it either. I want you to hate it or love it. So that's my announcement. I have to get that out of the way at the start of the show, because, everyone clicks off. But welcome to another program. I don't know when I'm going to post this as of the time that I'm recording it. Last week I posted it on Wednesday, like in the afternoon. People kind of liked it, but also, I was just doing that because I skipped the week beforehand. So I'm probably going to post this on Friday, so don't worry about that. But, we got some pertinent news for the show, the showgram. The showgram. Now, if you're a fucking dipshit cocksucker, like dumbass, right? You might read an article like this: with Haley's departure, the rematch between Biden and Trump is now set, and then gain information. Now, for whatever reason, is it for headlines to like get ad revenue and sales and stuff like that, get clicks and views? People at large pretended that there was a real primary on either side, right? You saw some leftist YouTubers and news people going like, Marianne Williamson, Cenk Uygur. It's one thing if you want to cover them once or twice just to acknowledge that they're in there. But I mean, like, when you're making video after video after video, and like writing 17 trillion Twitter posts for someone that got like 2%. I mean, at what point, do people feel scammed? And the same thing with left-wing news show people talking about this so-called Republican primary. There's no real primary. People did streams covering these debates. Whoa! Why don't they do streams covering any other news topic? Why is a GOP debate? We got to stream their advertisements, right? And I think most people understand that this is not news. It was Trump versus Biden. We knew that in fucking January of 2021. We knew that this would be the case. But there's money to be made in pretending otherwise. And that's my main problem, is that you see so many people writing these articles, making videos, going on shows to discuss this primary that's not actually happening. Nikki Haley had no fucking chance. Like, come on. Trump is not now the nominee. He was the nominee in January 2021. Anyone who could not see that in a genuine way, dumb as hell. But who knows how many people in the news media are genuine versus just riding the fucking algorithm and trying to cash in on whatever trending news stories. But the fake primaries, I guess, are over, I guess. So what are people going to make videos on now? Certainly not COVID. They're not going to touch that with a 10-foot pole because they're a bunch of pussy, spineless bitches. Bitcoin's back up. So maybe that will be the new thing that left-wingers hump over and over again for ad revenue, right? It's possible. And with that, I pretty much said everything I have to say on that one there. So there you go. But I mentioned Bitcorn, one of my favorite types of corn. Shout outs to Iowa. Bitcorn reached a new all-time high. Now, if you're a leftist and you watch left-wing news, you may have heard that crypto is dead. It's dead. It's gone. They were shot and they were buried. But that's not the case, apparently, because that's not how the real world works. And Bitcoin is back up higher than it's ever been before. So, now I know cryptocurrency is unpopular in leftist spaces. Why? Because leftists typically don't think about things. They just listen to whatever podcast is on their YouTube recommended feed and then just, absorb those opinions and parrot them as their own. For me personally, I am neutral on cryptocurrency. I buy it, I sell it. I used to make a living buying and selling cryptocurrency. You can consider that a vested interest. But also, I understand the whole system is fucking stupid. The same thing with the regular economy. There's nothing special or different about cryptocurrency. All stocks are scams. The whole economy is a scam. Everything is a bunch of fucking fake garbage. So you might as well just ride the train while you can. So hopefully, if you are somewhat intelligent when it comes to your finances, you were buying Bitcoin when everyone else said it was dead. It was dead. Gone, like Jesus Christ. But 3 years later, or was it 3 days? I don't know. But 3 years later, Bitcoin is back. So there you go. Hopefully, next time when people say it's dead, that's when you start buying. Not a professional, by the way, so, but there you go. I got hair in my face. I'm going for the hair in my face look. Does anyone remember this? This is what people used to do in, like, the early 2000s. They'd walk around, like, with hair in their face because it's, like, a stylistic choice, you know? Like, ooh, look at me. I can only see out of one of my eyeballs, right? But I'm rocking that today. That's what I got going on. And I hope you don't mind. I'm trying to think of what to do next. All right, fuck it. So in North Carolina, which for those of you that don't know, I used to live there, so I still follow the politics sometimes. In North Carolina, we got this crazy ass motherfucking bitch. Running for governor, and his name is Mark Robinson, and this guy is a Hitler fan. This guy wants to kill transgender people. He said that the transgender people need to be eradicated from this earth, and by any means necessary, or whatever the fuck. This guy's crazy, and this guy's running. This guy, you know, I've been following this guy's antics because again, he is the current lieutenant governor, if you can believe it. So he is an elected official, but the way North Carolina works is it's not like, the lieutenant governor and the governor are two separate votes. So typically North Carolina has a Democrat, for the last couple cycles as the governor with a lieutenant governor. Because North Carolinians you need to understand this. Voters, fucking stupid, right? Americans, fucking dumb. American voters, Jesus fucking Christ. North Carolinian voters. Holy shit, these are some of the dumbest people in the world. So they think, we'll send a Democrat to be the governor, but we'll keep him in check with a Republican lieutenant governor. It's the same voting base. Votes for Democrat in one position, votes for Republican in the other position, right? Why? Well, it's checks and balances or whatever. They're fucking stupid. They're dumb. They're dummies, okay? North Carolinians are fucking stupid. I'm sorry. If you live in North Carolina, chances are you're a dumbass, or at least 98% of the people in your immediate vicinity are fucking stupid, okay? I'm sorry. That's just a fact. But it's nothing special to North Carolina. Trust me. I've been to a lot of places. Everyone's fucking stupid in this shithole country. But this guy is particularly insane. I think he may be one of the most insane Republicans actively running for a major position of power that I have seen or heard of. He's running for governor, and he might win. It's possible. I mean, North Carolina's a stupid state with stupid fucking people, and the swing voter population of North Carolina, dumb. Swing voters in general. Again, I want you to picture the dumbest motherfuckers alive on this planet that we call Earth, swing voters. Okay, these are motherfuckers that are swinging from election to election. Are Nazis good? Well, maybe this year I won't vote for the Nazis. I'll vote for just the dummies in suits. Next year, I think I'll vote for the Nazis. Got to keep things interesting. I think this cycle, I might vote for a Nazi in one seat. I might vote for a liberal in another seat. Got to check some balances. You know what I'm saying? But The Guardian has a little article here. Let's just get a little recap of what kind of crazy, fucked up shit this guy's on. Mark Robinson, North Carolina's lieutenant governor, has a history of making inflammatory comments and has said he would abolish abortion rights, has won the state's Republican nomination for governor. Now, that's not news. I just want to be clear, that's not news. Obviously, he was going to win. He's the current lieutenant governor, so duh. When you're running for lieutenant governor, What you're essentially doing is running for governor, but like 1 or 2 cycles out. That's what you're doing, right? You're running for lieutenant governor so that you can have like that experience and you can get in people's minds, and then you run for governor next time. Robinson, North Carolina's first black lieutenant governor. Oh, he's black. Interesting. Wow, so progressive. Will face Democrat Josh Stein, the state attorney general, in what is expected to be a close and hotly contested race in November. For those of you that don't know, Josh Stein, I believe, is the current attorney general, which in most states is like one of the 3rd or 4th ranked positions, depending on the state. So you have Democrat Roy Cooper as governor, lieutenant governor is Mark Robinson, and then you have Attorney General Josh Stein. So Roy Cooper is retiring, and Josh Stein is trying to leapfrog. That's typically how this stuff works, right? Especially North Carolina is an extremely corrupt state. The Democrats are corrupt. They're fucking awful garbage. They're like, extremely right-wing Democrats. And then Republicans are just neo-Nazis, right? So that's the kind of state of affairs in North Carolina. But the reason, Roy Cooper, he pretty easily won re-election in the last cycle, so now he's stepping down. So you have 2 people who have never been governor before, so, it's possible that the dummies in North Carolina will try to keep things in balance. You gotta have checks and balances, bipartisanship, and they might vote for the fucking neo-Nazi to be governor. So that's possible. I don't know, man. Like, that's pretty crazy to me. Let's check out some more quotes. Issues like the right to abortion would be at stake. Robinson said last month that he would absolutely protect life from conception. We got it down to 12 weeks. He said the next goal is to get it down to 6 and just keep moving from there. What the hell does that even mean? So you got 12 weeks and then 6, and where do you go from there? Like, 0 weeks? What is 0 weeks? Is that like the morning after, it's already over? I'm just curious. I would like to know, but obviously they don't ever go into detail. A former factory worker, he's from the grassroots. Robinson launched his political career when his 2018 speech on gun laws in his hometown council went viral. During that speech, Robinson said he represented average Americans who feel targeted and whose safety feels threatened by attempts to restrict firearm access. I don't even know what the fuck that means. The attention followed the speech, blah, blah, blah. So he goes from 2018 to being a nobody. And in 2020 is where I first started hearing about him the last cycle. Because that's when I lived in North Carolina. And, again, he was quoting Hitler. He was talking about how trans people are possessed by the devil and need to be eradicated by any means necessary, how abortion is like genocide. And he's one of those people, he's also black. You may know that. You may have seen a photo of him. So he does this conspiracy that you see a lot of black people do that are right-wing, where they go like, it's actually racist to be in favor of abortion rights because most abortions are by black women, so it's like a genocide of black babies or whatever. You may have heard this conspiracy in black circles or whatever that people say. And that's like, he is a huge progenitor of that kind of shit, right? And so like, he's one of those guys who's really trying, especially in North Carolina, to shift a lot of the, particularly black men, over to being Republican neo-Nazis, right? So that's his project. And, watch out for that guy. He might be the next governor of North Carolina. Again, a lot of dummies in North Carolina may swing this guy into power. And it's pretty scary. Now, again, I don't follow every state very closely. I am biased because I used to live in North Carolina, so I still kind of keep my antennas in there. But this guy may be one of the most insane Republicans running for like one of the high... I mean, obviously Trump, he's running for president, right? But like the tier below Trump, one of the... Like, I think this guy's more insane than Ron DeSantis and stuff like that, right? So this guy is definitely a level up in the insanity. And it's only going to get worse because Republicans, they don't know how to go in reverse. They only go more toward the insanity. But there you go. Shout out to North Carolina, continuing to impress us all. You may have read this in the news. I just took like a generic news story here, like, because what I like to do is I like to take stories and pump them into search engines and find different articles. You know, sometimes to balance the perspective. Sometimes it's more fun to read something that I know is going to be stupid ahead of time, you know, so that it's more entertaining for the show. But this is just a local news report. You may have seen this floating around. Millennials could become the richest generation in history. Now, if that immediately like jumps out at you as like, what? You know, millennials are very notable for being the first generation in history that's worse off than their parents, right? So you're seeing a lot of this report get, disseminated through the media, talking about how millennials are so well off. Millennials are going to be, right? And what is it? What is this report? Well, first of all, the news article is nothing. There is no news article. Check this out. Millennials could become the richest generation by the year 2044. That's 20 years from now, right? Like, are we even going to have money in 20 years? Is society as it is now going to exist in 20 years? Probably not. According to research from the Wealth Report, interesting, by global property consultant Knight Frank, interesting, the research said millennials are expected to inherit roughly $90 trillion worth of assets over the next 20 years. The millennials who will receive this wealth will have to come from families with healthy financial portfolios. The report also said the number of people in the U.S. worth at least $30 million increased by 4.3% compared to 2022. I wonder what the rate of inflation was in the year 2022, by the way. But anyway, I saw this a lot being disseminated, this general stuff by Republicans talking about how millennials have it easy. They're going to be some come so rich, and the fucking fine print of the one of like 3 paragraphs in this news article, it's like, oh, you have to come from a rich family. Well, no shit. Like, I mean, this is being presented as news, right? And then right-wing circles are saying millennials are so lazy, they're so rich, and yet they have so much, and yet they cry so much, blah, blah, blah. And this article says nothing. Like, yeah, okay, eventually all the boomers and Gen X will die, and where's that money going to go? They're trust fund babies who happen to be millennials. Like, this, like, what is this, like... the generation thing, sometimes, when it comes to culture, you can talk about generation differences between like millennials, Gen Z, Gen X, there's definitely cultural differences. But in this context, right, in a lot of context when it comes to the economy, right, and finances, what do generations even mean? Okay, so like a handful of millennials are going to have their parents die. What does that have to mean for you or me? Like, what the fuck? How are we affected? Why are we in this bunch? Like, why is this news? Why are right-wingers talking about it? I don't know. But there you go. Some really stupid-ass garbage there. If you live in Michigan, you might be fucked. And, of course, obviously, this is the Above It All show, so it wouldn't be in the good dick way. But in the state of Michigan, I believe the state of Florida as well, and I read some stuff in the UK and other stuff. There's massive measles outbreaks, y'all. Check this out. Measles cases send Michigan health authorities scrambling to avoid a bigger outbreak. So, why is measles coming back? 1, because the world is fucking stupid and allowed COVID to kill and infect every single person on this planet. What does COVID do? It destroys your fucking immune system. I guess this is number 2. When your immune system is destroyed, certain kinds of vaccinations that you may have had are going to lose efficacy over time because you may still have the antibodies, but your immune system is less capable of fighting off those infections, right? Number 3, the anti-vaccine movement over the course of the last 20, 30 years has resulted in a large enough, I guess I should say, percentage of the population not having been vaccinated for measles, basically being the melting pot for measles to kind of come back. Number 4, we live in fuckville where people stopped believing in the germ theory of disease. I know people, they get mad at me when I say this, okay? I need you to understand, this is the age of pestilence, the era of disease. For the first time in all of human history, humans have been around for hundreds of thousands of years, civilization, tens of thousands of years, for the first time ever, the microbial world has been discovered and then lost. The germ theory of disease, over 100 years old, is gone. It's gone, right? As a society, As a collective, it doesn't matter if you or I acknowledge the germs are real and stay home. As a society, as a collective, as a civilization, the germ theory of disease is gone, right? People are more likely to believe that the earth is flat. When it comes to germs, the average person is a flat earther. I need people to really kind of make these connections in their brain, right? We routinely make fun of people that believe the earth is flat. Yet, it's normal to believe that germs don't exist. Now, you may run into people that go, well, germs are real, but I don't feel like doing anything to prevent getting germs. I want to wear a mask. I may be sure they're real, but I won't be affected by them. What? So you believe you're a superhero? So you simultaneously believe germs cause disease, but you specifically, because you're the main character of the world, you're immune? Right? And so, because the germ theory of disease is gone, it was destroyed, right, by you, by people watching my show right now. If you leave the house without a mask on, you have allowed the germ theory of disease to die. You said to the government, kill me, I don't care, as long as I can go to Applebee's. Why? Because you're a suicidal train wreck of a person, and you want to take down the rest of us with you. I don't know. If you don't wear a mask, I'm not talking about, right, fucking staying home forever and never leaving the house. But if you leave the house without an N95 or P100 respirator or higher, you are de facto, right, an agent of eugenics on behalf of the United States government. If that triggers you, if you're offended by that, stop calling yourself a leftist and just come to terms with the fact that you're a fascist, right? That's just how it is. So why is measles coming back? Now, again, we're going to be talking about Michigan here specifically. Well, measles, of course, for those of you that don't know, was pretty much eradicated. And for the reasons I mentioned before, it survived in small pockets, and now again, the anti-vaccine movement over the last 20, 30 years before the pandemic, the current pandemic that we're in, has kind of given measles, a situation where it can make a resurgence. And then now, again, COVID has destroyed immune system, so it's more likely to get in and make a foothold. Because people, by and large, said germs aren't real. Germs are not real. Your liberal friends, germs are not real. Your Trump supporter friends, germs are not real. Your leftist friends, people that call themselves super commies, germs are not real, right? Organizers, protesters, activists all around the country say in unison, germs are not real. And that's the era we're living in. So that's why we're seeing instances of the bubonic plague resurfacing. Yeah, that's right. That happened in like Montana or some shit last year. You're seeing instances of measles coming back all over the country, all over the world. Other polio has been making a return in multiple areas. Why is this happening? COVID is destroying the immune system, and everyone is saying, kill me, daddy, fuck me harder until I die. Please, Biden, fuck me until I die. That's what people are saying. Your communist friends want to get fucked by Joe Biden until they die. Your socialist friends want to get fucked by Joe Biden until they die. That's what they're all saying. When you go to a protest without a mask on, you are saying, please kill me and also kill everyone around me. Why? Because people in this country and the world at large are fucking stupid. That's why. And peer pressure is a powerful drug. If you just say, well, masks are ugly, you can convince someone to stop believing in germs. Now, again, think about the flat earth. Think about this. I mentioned this earlier. What does believing in the flat earth theory actually do for your day-to-day life? Nothing. If you don't believe in the curvature of the earth, how does that affect you on a day-to-day? If anything, it would only maybe affect how you throw a baseball. Maybe you'll throw it a little differently because you don't believe in curvature, right? Ultimately, it doesn't really affect your life. Believing in germs, on the other hand, affects your life. If you believe in germs during a pandemic, you're going to wear a mask. If you don't believe in germs during a pandemic, you will not wear a mask, right? It is something that affects you on a daily basis, right? It's an action that you have to take. Now, again, most people, when it comes to politics, it's a brand. It's what color t-shirt are you wearing? Are you on red team or blue team or green team or brown team or yellow team or purple team? What logo is on your t-shirt, right? What celebrity, put their name on the label of shoes that you're wearing, right? That's politics for most people. That's why you see such a huge outpouring of support for Palestine, right? But you also see a lot of those people that aren't willing to do boycotts of Israeli products. My favorite type of hummus is manufactured in Israel. Well, I love hummus, and certainly I'm not going to make it myself because I'm a communist, by the way. I'm a communist. Definitely not going to make hummus myself. I don't support the genocide, but, I really like this hummus, you know what I'm saying? Right? Most people, they're not willing to do anything at all when it comes to making a change in their actual lifestyle and behavior on behalf of their professed politics. So when it comes to the germ theory of disease, you can call yourself a communist while you're disabling and killing your grandparents, and that's fine. Why? Because of peer pressure. No one else is acknowledging the germ theory of disease, except they're just not around you, right? I need people to really understand, people that acknowledge germs, like myself and people that watch my show and many other activists that I know, have just given up. For the most part, a lot of people are still trying to talk sense into these self-proclaimed communists and socialists, right? But a lot of us have just given up. We're in our own little pockets, right? We do our own thing. We do activism in our own way. But, you're not going to see me going to a protest. Why? Because I don't want to get killed. I'm sorry. It's just not... what are protests for? Right? They're for building a community, building a network, getting contacts, making friends, right? That's all a protest is for. Protests do not enact actual change. That never happens. Name one event in the last 20 or 30 years where a protest actually affected policy. It doesn't, right? And so if you go to these protests and everyone's walking around without a mask on, honestly, what's the point? Are you going to make friends with these people? Probably not. I mean, the best case scenario if we're going to a protest in the year 2024 is so that you can talk people into believing in germs, or so you can get a selfie for Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or whatever. That's the main reason to go to a protest. So you can virtue signal how much you care about the world when you actually don't care about the world in any actionable sense. Now, again, am I anti-protest? No. I'm in favor of strategic, well-organized protests that focus on solidarity and community building. And that's not a thing that you see often. A lot of protests are vultured by clout sharks, people that want to go in there and take credit for things, people who want to go in there and look how cool I am, I'm at this protest, and then they leave immediately, they don't do anything after the fact. Many people that go to these protests, they're only going to the protests because their friends think it's cool. Now, again, is it good to protest in favor of Palestine? Absolutely. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it, but think about it. You're going to go to a protest because you don't like genocide. You're going to get sick at this protest. Then, 3 years later, you're going to develop AIDS or some similar immune deficiency. Then, you're not going to be able to protest at all anymore. Think about it. Think about why, again, look, you've been seeing a lot of union activity and union wins. But are unions fighting for COVID protocols in the workplace so that their members don't get sick? No, because the unions don't believe in germs. And a lot of union members are neo-Nazis that don't believe in germs, even if, their parents died of an infection, they wouldn't believe in germs. I'm sorry, it's true, right? So think about it, you're a boss. Bosses know about COVID. That's why they keep themselves safe. That's why they have people test themselves. Now, not every boss, but a lot of bosses. You see people at the World Economic Forum, right? Keeping themselves safe, having testing protocols, that kind of stuff. Think about it. Okay, you'll lose this fight But in 5 years, these guys aren't even going to be able to go on strike anymore. So yeah, okay, you lose this contract, you wait it out, the energy dies down, then you fuck them again at the next crisis, you do some temporary stopgap that lasts another 20 years, then they're all having an immunodeficiency, and guess what? They're not going to be able to strike anymore, and boom, you win. So think about this, right? Think about this from a strategic sense. Does it make sense to go to a protest without a mask on, get disabled, and then be unable to do protests in the future and just be reliant on the healthcare system to keep you alive and keep you getting out of bed in the morning? Does that sound like an actionable communist strategy for the future? No, it doesn't. But we don't have a communist organization in this country. We don't have a socialist organization, not a single one that has any sort of power or prominence anywhere. All we have are a bunch of teenagers and young adults who don't believe in germs, parading around their eugenicist fantasy world, and claiming that they're communists, claiming that they care so deeply about this genocide, and they won't even engage in a boycott. They're too addicted to sending money to the IDF in exchange for garbage, poisonous products that probably kill them with a bunch of sugar and other bunch of garbage, right? Because lifestyle, for most people, has nothing to do with their professed beliefs. There are two separate circles. Think of a Venn diagram, two separate circles, no interlock, right? And that's a problem for me. That's a problem for me because it makes navigating a political arena impossible. Why? Because everyone's lying. Even the people that think they're telling the truth are lying, right? If you say you're a communist and you deeply believe in communism and you still don't wear a mask during an airborne pandemic, you're not a communist, but you genuinely believe you're a communist, the best kind of useful idiot. So let me actually read this a little bit, just so people in Michigan kind of know where they need to be wary. Potentially hundreds of people were exposed to measles in Wayne and Washtenaw counties over the last week, as two adults who had traveled internationally had no record of measles immunization sought care for their symptoms at two urgent care centers, a Dearborn pharmacy, and two hospital emergency departments, state officials told the Free Press. The exposure sparked a race against the clock for county health leaders to starve off an outbreak among unvaccinated people unknowingly exposed to highly contagious virus when they visited. So here it gives you the list of all the places in Michigan affected that they know of. This is a key factor. Measles can lay dormant in your body for up to 2 weeks without you expressing any symptoms. So factor this in, okay? Do you believe in the theory of evolution? Well, if you're a communist, you probably say you do, but you don't. If you believed in the theory of evolution, you would understand if you are a virus, you benefit from your host not displaying symptoms for an extended period of time so that you can actively spread the virus. If you get infected with something and immediately show symptoms, guess what? You're going to be more likely to stay home. That virus's lineage is going to die with you. If you lay dormant for a week, 2 weeks, like COVID or measles, guess what? You're going to be spreading the virus asymptomatically, and then everyone around you is going to get sick. So keep in mind, measles has like 1 to 2 week incubation period before symptoms start to show, right? Not good. Quote, measles is highly infectious, can be transmittable before the characteristic rash. The initial symptoms can be nondescript and the virus can linger in the air for hours. Doesn't that sound familiar? Well, we did nothing about COVID, so we'll probably do nothing about measles 2.0. We'll probably do nothing about polio 2.0. Why? Because I need you all to understand. Adapt or die. Adapt or die. The age of pestilence is upon us. 2019 is gone. It's never coming back, okay? The era of walking around without a mask on is over. Either adapt or fucking die. I'm sorry. Those are your options, okay? AIDS. HIV leads to AIDS, right? HIV, before developing into quote-unquote full-blown AIDS, has about a 5 to 10 year period of time where it's eroding your immune system over time, and then eventually your immune system is weak enough that the common cold can fucking kill you, okay? COVID, we're only in year 5 of COVID existing. We're in like year 2 of like, let everyone get infected, public health doesn't exist, the age of disease is upon us, right? So let's imagine we're only in year 2 of the real meat and potatoes of this fucking pandemic. right? HIV, very similar to COVID, has a 5 to 10 year period of time before AIDS is developed, right? There were articles written in the middle of the HIV epidemic, pandemic, whatever you want to call it, people saying, oh, yeah, I got HIV 5 years ago, I'm fine, everything's good. Then they die 2 years later, 3 years later, 4 years later, right? The mass waves of death when it comes to immune dysfunction causing disease is a delayed effect of possibly years, right? So either you get COVID 38 times a year, your immune system dies, and then you die shortly after, and maybe you're hoping that some super cure is going to come out, and then that you're also hoping you can afford it, which, let's be honest, or you're suicidal, and you just want to kill yourself, but you're a pussy, right? And you can't just kill yourself. You have to bring everyone else down with you, right? Or you're just a fucking moron. You're just a stupid fucking son of a bitch. And you're probably just too stupid to live in a literal sense. Those are the only reasons why you'd walk around outside without a mask on. Outside, again, there's also people that still think indoor transmission is the only way you can catch COVID. Like, you go to a protest and you have people breathing down your neck, but somehow you're outside, so magic is abound. Whenever you're outside, magic is floating through the world or whatever. People literally think a doorway kills COVID. They really do. Quote, this is important. You don't actually need to share the same airspace with an infected person at the same time, so the risk can be quite hidden and amplified. Sounds fucking familiar. We're going to do nothing about it, as per usual, and then people are going to wonder, could anything have been done about this after waves of people start to die? Because we live in the age of pestilence, folks. Check this out. This is fun. This is from the Washington Post. Long COVID may cause cognitive decline of about 6 IQ points, a study finds. This is from the Washington Post, by the way, so it's always interesting when mainstream media talks about the actual ramifications of COVID because they usually downplay it in the body text. But let's check it out. More than 4 years since the first case of COVID-19, but many of its longer-term effects, including for those living with long COVID, remain unclear. Now, a new study has some worrying findings to suggest COVID may have longer-term effects on cognition and memory. I covered a similar study to this a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago. But now, again, mainstream media is talking about this now. I believe the first cognition study on long COVID was several years old. 2021... 2022, this information started coming out, and then the government buried that information, did back to normal. Now everyone's sick and coughing all the time, and lo and behold, now the information is being disseminated publicly in small areas, right, in small, like in page 93 of the newspaper, right, so that later on, when the waves of death start happening again, and the waves of sickness get worse and worse and worse, people at the Washington Post can say, what? We ran an article about this, we told you. It's not our fault. So that they can absolve themselves of their participation in this mass genocide. A new study has some worrying findings that suggest COVID may have longer-term effects on cognition and memory, and that these lead to measurable differences in cognitive performance. Now, again, one of the major hits is like short-term decision-making. Right? Now think about it. You're driving a car. How many car accidents are a result of the inability to do short-term decision-making? Now think about it. The heaviest hit part cognitively for long COVID is short-term decision-making. And people are still driving cars. And they're increasing the speed limit. Woo! Let it rip. The study, published Thursday in the New England Journal of Medicine, found that participants who recovered from COVID symptoms had a cognitive deficit equivalent to 3 IQ points compared with those who were never infected, while participants suffering from unresolved COVID symptoms lasting 12 weeks or more experienced a loss of equivalent to 6 IQ points. Now, you may be thinking, 3 IQ points, no big deal. Okay, but how do we know it's not 3 IQ points every infection? Right? These studies are really only showing before and after getting infected and control to 1 or 2 infections. Because a lot of these studies that are coming out started 1 year ago, 2 years ago. Right, so these are not necessarily taking into account the ramifications of getting COVID 4 or 5 times a year like the average American is doing. So let's imagine it's 3 IQ points per infection, which we have no reason not to believe. Or let's imagine it's like a mitigating on repeat infection. So it's 3 on the first infection, 2 on the subsequent infections, maybe 1 after like 5 or 6 infections, right? And then also think about all the other things that are destroying cognition in the country, like microplastics in the brain, TikTok, all that kind of stuff, right? Now, you may have heard of, every generation has a higher IQ, gets more intelligent, building off the back of the previous generation. I believe the term is the Flynn effect. I could be wrong. We may be seeing, and if not, we're already seeing the first time in human history where we're going to have a generation that's not only poorer than their parents' generation, but also dumber. And we're comparing ourselves to the generation that huffed lead fucking gas for goddamn God knows how long. That's our baseline. We are comparing to motherfuckers who would breathe lead. And we might actually end up dumber than them. How fucked is that? How fucked is that? Researchers also stressed that the greater cognitive decline associated with persistent symptoms may not be permanent, as participants in this category had recovered by the time they took part in the study were found to have cognitive deficits comparable to those who recovered quickly. Now again, this is imagining a world where you get COVID and then you recover and then that's the end of the story. But what if you get COVID, you recover, you get COVID again, you don't really recover, you get COVID again, you get COVID again, you get COVID again, and then you're in an endless COVID bout, right? Because that's what we're dealing with here. We've now had about a year, 2 years. I know people in my life that have said they've gotten COVID 3 to 4 times in the year 2023. Right? We haven't yet done studies on how getting COVID 5 times, let alone 5 times a year, impacts you. Right? So I need people to understand these studies, 1 to 2 years old, right? Dealing with a different world. 1 to 2 years ago was when we still kind of acknowledged germs. Germs were on the way out. So now, the studies that are happening here and now, that are going to be released a year from now, 6 months from now, 2 years from now, right? Those studies are going to be able to take more into effect what repeat infections are able to do, and or rather what they are doing to people's bodies. And again, I'm not allowed to talk about this because people get triggered. Oh, people in the chat are getting triggered because I talked about COVID. Oh, I got triggered. I got a bunch of fucking essays from some dummies that are like, oh, why you keep talking about COVID? I'm triggered. Why don't you talk about Nikki Haley? Why don't you talk about Nikki Haley instead of COVID? Talk about dumb garbage instead of something that's important. Oh, I'm so sad. Oh, I'm so triggered right now because you mentioned COVID. Oh my God. That's how most people react when you talk about COVID. Why? Because they've been brainwashed into the cult of capital, the cult of consumerism. Now again, self-proclaimed communists, leftists, socialists, whatever you want to say, whatever made-up term you want to pretend you have so that you're all high and mighty and morally superior than others, right? A lot of these people are totally fine killing themselves, killing their kids, killing their disabled comrades, their community members, killing their family members, killing their parents, their grandparents. They're totally fine with that. As long as they can go to McDonald's. As long as they can get some fucking hummus at the grocery store. As long as they can get that whatever specific bread they like that's manufactured in Israel or whatever that they're addicted to. They just have to have it. Oh man, it really sucks what's going on in Gaza, but also, it's got to get my 3 a.m. mixed sausage or whatever the fuck they sell at McDonald's, right? Because people in this country ultimately are pathetic. They're pathetic liars. And again, it's one thing if you want to lie to others, but these people are lying to themselves. And that's the ultimate, to me, that's the ultimate level of being a pathetic fucking loser. That you are so beaten down by consumer culture, by capitalism, that even if you want to pretend that you're a hyper-communist or whatever, it's like a military base in your mind, okay? And it's like the CIA has infected your brain. Right, like, yes, I am a communist, I support Gaza, but also McDonald's good. Interesting, right? Now, again, I get really pissed off at the self-proclaimed leftists who don't believe in germs anymore, because I get it, right-wingers are just fucking stupid. But the equivalent of the flat earth fury has taken hold in left-wing spaces. And that's why I don't consider myself a leftist anymore. You know, in the abstract, I guess I'm a leftist, right? But I don't want to be a part of a lot of these leftist groups. Why? Because I don't have anything in common with them. You know, I used to think, oh, if someone's a left-winger, we have stuff in common. They support equal rights. They support people having access to health care. They support people being healthy and happy. That is not the case. Leftists don't give a shit about health care. 10 years or longer in some cases of people screeching, Medicare for all! We need Medicare for all! Medicare for all now! We need it! Medicare for all! And those same people, when's the last time you heard Medicare for all? In any official way, in any big campaign, when's the last time you heard it? Years ago. And now those same people no longer believe in germs. So 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, Medicare for all! Medicare for all! People have a right to be healthy! Now, oh, if you don't get sick 5 times a year, you're weird. Come on, man. The Kool-Aid's fine, bro. And yes, that does trigger me. So I'm sorry. I'm upset that I live in a world, the first era in all of human history, where the germ theory of disease has been discovered and proven to be true. And 90% of the population doesn't believe it. Again, imagine if 90% of the world just suddenly overnight, yeah, I think the earth is flat. Think about it. Actionably. Realistically, how does it affect you if you believe the earth is flat? It doesn't. It really doesn't. But if you don't believe in germs, yes, you're going to get sick 5 times a year. Yeah, you're going to wonder what mystery illness you have 5 times a year. Everyone around you is going to get sick 28 times a year. And you're all going to go to your communism rallies and go, why are we all sick? What? This is so weird. And then you're all going to fucking die 5 to 10 years later when your immune system shuts the fuck down. So, why do I talk about COVID? Because I'm not going to be one of those people that in 10 years from now, when everyone starts dropping like flies, once the big AIDS rush starts hitting, I'm going to look back and say, I told you fucking so. I'm not going to be one of those shows that just, oh, sorry, we're not allowed to talk about COVID anymore because it's uncool. Because all these left-wing shows that you watch that don't talk about COVID, they don't give a fuck about left-wing politics. All they care about is money, the algorithm, and peer pressure. Now, they won't say that. They might not even know that. But actionably, all they care about is making money. Right? Everyone's got to make money. You can't really fault them too much. The algorithm, they want to follow trends, right? They want to fit in, right, so that they can make more money, and then also so that they can improve their social status and hierarchy in the world. And then 3, peer pressure. The Kool-Aid's fine. Jim Jones is a great guy. He would never poison the Kool-Aid. What do you mean? This is the greatest Kool-Aid I've ever had in my life. Everything's fine. We're all getting sick 20 times a year with an HIV-similar airborne virus. What are you talking about? Everyone's getting sick 38 times a year. My grandma died. Don't you want your grandma to die? Come on, man. And those 3 things have killed the left in this country. Now, I don't really... We can talk about historically if this country ever had a left. But, I mean, at this point, it's gonzo. Going, gonzo. If you hear anyone talk about the pandemic in the past tense, they're a flat earther. I need you to make that connection in your mind. You might say I'm overreaching. Am I really? Am I really? They don't believe in germs. They don't believe in germs, and I'm overreaching. If you hear someone say, oh yeah, remember COVID, that, during COVID, this and that in the past tense, they are flat earthers. And they should be treated as such. They should be mocked, ridiculed, and in some cases, if you feel like they can be saved, you should approach them with information, right? But let's be honest, a lot of these people, they're perpetuators of the scam. The most likely to be fervently in favor of promoting a scam, whether it be like a pyramid scheme, multi-level marketing, that kind of stuff, are people that that they themselves are on the hook. When you're on the hook, you are way less likely to realize that it's a scam and to get out, right? Instead of cutting your losses, you are more likely to just, even if you realize cognitively, yes, I was scammed, you're still more likely to perpetuate the scam, just because you need to make your money back, right? And that's COVID and peer pressure. They're all getting scammed, and then you get sick 5 times in 1 year, and you're like, well, shit. I already got sick 5 times in 1 year, so what are you going to do? And then you're going to perpetuate that scam on everyone else. Oh, shit, grandma's dead. Oh, well, fuck her. Doesn't matter. Oh, shit, my dad's dead. Fuck him. Doesn't matter. Oh, shit, my kid's dead. Fuck him. Doesn't matter. Oh, shit, my baby was born with a deformity, and now they'll never speak because their brain was growing incorrectly because of COVID in the placenta. Whatever. Fuck them. I care so much about my kids, but I'm going to send them to school during a pandemic without a mask on because I don't care about my kids, but I got to tell people I care about my kids because I want people to know, or at least I want people to think I care about my kids because that elevates me in the social hierarchy because, oh, I'm a good parent even though we're all killing our kids. But hey, if we're all killing our kids, then it's not abuse because abuse legally is an exemplary, attack on a child. It's not the societally normalized things that we do to abuse our child, like addict them to fast food and ice cream from birth so that they have food addiction issues for the rest of their lives, like give them a virus that destroys their immune system, like give them a virus while they're still developing in the womb that gives them birth defects. COVID is concentrated in the placenta. If you are pregnant and you get COVID, guess what? There's a 10 to 20% chance, I should say, that your child is going to have some major birth abnormality. But parents don't give a fuck. Pudding is more important than their kids' well-being because parents don't give a fuck. People at large don't give a fuck. Most people are either parents or aspiring parents, and most people are garbage. Most people are evil. So that means most parents are either garbage or evil, and then that produces the society that we live in where the first time in human history germs went the way of the dodo. That shit's extinct, motherfucker. It's gonzo. Germs aren't real. Believing in germs in the year 2024, the year 2025, we're like keeping a very dimly lit torch alive with the hope that one day the flame will spread again. And maybe, flame is kind of destructive, but in poetry, you can use it, whatever. So shout out to all the viewers out there of mine that do acknowledge germs. They realize the earth actually not flat. It turns out the earth is a sphere. Could you believe it? Wow. Whoa. Holy shit. You can't see it with your eyeballs, but you can take a picture, right, from a distance, and then you can see it. Similarly, you can't see airborne viruses with your eyeballs, but if you put them under a microscope, you can see it. In one instance, everyone makes fun of them. In the other instance, everyone makes fun of you if you're not in on the scam, right? Think about it, societally speaking. Oh, this guy believes the earth is flat. What an idiot. Why do they believe that? Oh, because they can't see with their own eyes the curvature of the earth. Oh, this guy doesn't believe in germs. What an idiot. Or this guy doesn't believe in germs. He's so smart. He's so brave. He's a social butterfly. Like he's amazing. He's solidarity. Why doesn't he believe in germs? Same reason. Can't see him with your eyeballs, right? Same exact conspiracy. Way more deadlier outcome. All of a sudden, it's totally perfectly acceptable. And you are weird. You don't want to get sick 18 times a year? You're weird, man. You want to be healthy? Weird. You want to live a long life? Weird. You should be dying in your 30s like the rest of us, man. Come on in. The water's fine. I don't know. I'm talking in circles here. It just, I don't know what else to tell you. It enrages me, to be honest with you. I hate living in this world. I really do. I just hate it. I'm trying to come up like, what's the good part about living on Earth in the year 2024? I guess I get to do an internet show, right? I guess, right? I don't know. That's a plus. But to all y'all that keep getting twiggered, oh, your little fifis get hurt because I reminded you that germs are real. Oh, the little flat earther just got reminded that the earth is actually spherical. Oh, little baby. You can keep crying, keep fucking whining, but I'm sorry, okay? I'm not moving on. It's not happening, okay? Deal with it. If you want to unsubscribe because I believe in germs, deal with it. I don't give a shit. Okay? And And if you want more casual news stuff, I have a whole other show where we talk about a lot of casual news and politics stuff, right? So I've been kind of shifting more casual stories over to that show, and just focusing on the things that I care about, the things that I'm passionate about on this show. And being healthy is one of them. I'm a hypochondriac, right? I'm sorry, that's just how I was raised. I was disabled. My entire childhood, I had a really fucking bad sickness, right? And I never want that to happen again to anybody. I know what it's like to be bedridden. I know what it's like to be an outcast because you're sick all the time. I never want anyone to deal with that ever again. So that's why I'm advocating for people to be healthy. That's why I want people to eat good food. I'm not saying you can't ever eat fast food. You can't ever eat pizza. Once in a while, it's fine to have a pizza. If you're having fast food every day, that's called an addiction. You're an alcoholic, okay? Right? When it comes to alcohol, all of a sudden, you're ostracized. When it comes to fast food, you're just part of the gang, right? This stuff you need to understand that you are killing yourself on behalf of corporations. Now, I'm not saying you can't ever do anything that's unhealthy, but you need to understand going to Red Lobster is not worth getting AIDS in 10 years. And if you think it is, you're fucking insane. You're a fucking crazy person, okay? That's just how it is. And yeah, I guess more on the election, the 2024 election, right? We're fucked, regardless of who wins. Biden's gonna fuck us. He doesn't believe in germs. He's killing everyone with COVID. He's gonna fuck us with fucking Gaza. He's fucking us, right? He's gonna let Israel start a fucking world war in the Middle East because he's fucking demented, right? Donald Trump is just going to fucking kill us all with his fucking death squads like he did with fucking Michael Ryanel. Or he's going to kill us all with nuclear warfare. He's going to fucking kill us all, putting us in concentration camps. And then again, he's going to make COVID get worse somehow. I don't know how he's going to do it, but I don't know how it could get worse than Joe Biden's leadership on COVID. But you know what? If there's anything I think Donald Trump can do, there's anything I believe he can excel at, it's doing worse than Biden in every fashion, right? So we have to choose between getting a 1 on your fucking test and then just not handing the test in at all. Or just ripping it up and then like shitting on it or something and then handing it in like with scotch tape and shit all over it, right? And that's our option for the 2024 election. So that's cool. That's wonderful. And it didn't have to be this way, but guess what? Americans are fucking stupid. So you may see people go, oh, why is the election Biden and Trump again? Why? Because you're fucking dumb. You're an American and you vote like a fucking idiot. Your peers vote like fucking morons. Who the fuck is voting for Joe Biden in a primary? Dummies, stupid fuckers, okay? And there are millions of people doing it. Oh, Minnesota had 20% vote for uncommitted. Wow. 1 in 5 people that vote, which is not that much, didn't want to vote for the genocidal architect of fuck, okay? Whoa, that's going to save us. No, it's not. Most voters are fucking stupid. Most Americans are fucking stupid. Most Americans no longer believe in germs. Most Americans don't give a shit about anyone but themselves. And you know what? I'm calling their bluffs. Okay? If you don't give a shit about anyone but yourself, and not even including yourself, because you're killing yourself with COVID, you're killing yourself with fast food, you're killing yourself with all kinds of poisons and stuff, there are people that, during wildfire, smoke plumes, during, in East Palestine, Ohio, there's this train crash that leaked a bunch of toxic chemicals in the air. You can smell toxic fumes and still have people not wearing masks because wearing masks is for pussies, bruh. I'm gonna breathe in wildfire smoke and die of fucking black lung at 33 because wearing masks during a fucking toxic crash is fucking pussies, man. Only pussies wear masks when there's wildfire smoke going on, man. Don't you want to die in your fucking 30s, man? Like the rest of us, bro, because we're cool, man. So people don't wear masks when you can even see the threat. Think about it. They don't wear masks because you can't see the threat, because they don't believe in germs. They don't believe in the microbial world. But motherfuckers, when they can see and smell the threat, still don't believe in wearing a mask. How do you deal with that? How do you deal with motherfuckers that dumb? How do you deal with that shit? Seriously, it's like standing in traffic, watching the fucking semi drive toward you at 80 miles per hour, right? Let's imagine the guy in charge of the semi is looking at their phone or whatever, right? They don't see you. And let's imagine you're not even suicidal, like ostensibly, outwardly. You're just standing in the middle of the road for some other reason. I don't know. And you just stare at the truck. And you see it coming. You got 7 seconds before it hits you. You can jump out of the way and you just stand there. That's most Americans. Because they're fucking dumb. They're stupid. They don't have a survival instinct. And really, it's ultimately adapt or die. The world is fucked. Our elections are fucked. No one will help you. Everyone out there is a liar. Enjoy. That's the world. So, I'm sorry if people got triggered by watching my show, but I'm actually not sorry. I like making fun of stupid people. I really do. And that's one of the other things with COVID that my personality latches onto, because this is one of the most insane moments in human history. Like, documentation-wise, I don't think we've had a less sane moment in human history, right, that's been this well documented. We're in year 5 of an airborne pandemic that's so bad that all the pandemics that we thought we solved are coming back from the grave. Polio, measles, right? So, it's so bad that this pandemic is so bad, and yet if you mention the pandemic, people will go, what? What? What pandemic, man? COVID was like 20 years ago, man. All because people want to play, they want to LARP out. They want to act out on the theater of life. Like a TV show they watched when they were a kid of like what life is supposed to be. Like, yeah, you got screwed. If you're in my age bracket, you're 27. I'm 27, somewhere around there. Yeah, you know what? I feel you. It sucks. We got screwed. Okay? We got fucked out of being able to go to restaurants, out of being able to go to bars and parties and protests. We got fucked out of being able to go to conventions without getting sick and dying. But you can LARP out your fucking fantasy if you want at the expense of your life and others, or you can adapt to the world that we now live in. And we can create new institutions and new structures. Because think about it. Who is going to be inheriting the world? Right? The people that survived this pandemic. And the people that survived this pandemic, in order to just keep themselves sane in a way, are going to need institutions socially. Whether that be groups, hobby interest groups. We're all talking about Mega Man X6, but we also all believe that germs are real and that the earth is spherical, right? Because that's important. You ever talk to someone about your favorite movie, right? And you get in a really good conversation, and then they go like, yeah, that reminds me of like The Matrix or something. And then you start talking about The Matrix, and then it turns out they're a Trumper and they believe like The Matrix is some secret code for Donald Trump or some shit. You ever run into these people? It kind of sucks, doesn't it? Like, you want to talk about a cool movie that you like. There may be only 7 people on the rest of the earth that have seen that movie or listened to that song or played that game. And when a good percentage of them are fucking insane, it destroys your ability to actually talk about the actual subject matter, right? So we're going to need to create social institutions for the next generation. Either you can be a pussy and die in the fucking pile with the rest of the ashes of the old world, or you can be a part of the new world and create institutions both socially, both non-socially, that are able to keep the human species alive in some form in the next 10 to 20 years. Now, do I sound like a doomsday conspiracy theorist? You bet your goddamn motherfucking sweet-ass bippy I do. And you know what? If you don't believe in germs, right, I don't want to listen to anything you have to say when it comes to whether or not what I'm saying sounds insane. You believe the earth is flat, dude. I'm sorry, your judgment is not required at this point in time. But there you go. COVID destroys your brain. Nikki Haley is apparently not going to be the Republican nominee in a shocking twist ending. It turns out Donald Trump is the Republican nominee. Who'd have seen that coming? Whoa. But in other news, Biden wrote a letter to Netanyahu so the genocide will stop any minute now. Speaking of the genocide in Gaza, I haven't been hyper-focusing on that because the reason is a lot of leftist outlets are doing actual genuinely good reporting on Gaza. Now, again, they're ignoring COVID, even though COVID is a serious concern in Gaza. What happens when you're starving? Your immune system starts failing. What happens when you have long COVID and you're starving? Your immune system is failing. That's why there's giant disease pandemics running through Gaza right now. Think about this, the timeline, right? The vaccine came out. It's 2021. Israel refused to allow anyone in Gaza, other than extremely specific circumstances, get the vaccine, right? Then Gaza, the most densely populated place on the planet, right? No vaccine. Everyone else is pretending like the pandemic's over. Imagine the ripple effect exponentially that's going to have in places like Gaza, right? The most densely populated place on earth. 3 years after everyone gets COVID in Gaza, because imagine living in Gaza and not having gotten COVID. It's impossible, right? COVID destroys your immune system. It weakens you. It makes you physically less able to move in a coherent and cogent way for long periods of time. Right, so everyone in Gaza is sick, right? Their immune system is suffering, and then you starve them to death, right? That, like, if you acknowledge the genocide in Gaza without acknowledging COVID's role, you're fucking insane, right? So on that one area, leftists have lost the plot. They're refusing to talk about COVID because they don't want to be perceived as uncool, man, right? But it is cool to talk about Gaza. So a lot of people are doing good reporting on Gaza. So I don't feel the need to hyperfixate on that, but it is something I read about every day. It's horrifying what's going on there. And again, even people, when acknowledging reality, like what's going on in Gaza, nothing's happening. We're not doing anything about it, right? Nothing whatsoever will be done about Gaza. We're fucked, right? No one genuinely cares about anything. Let's be honest here. And when people genuinely care about things, it's only things that don't personally affect them. It really is. And if it is something that personally affects them, then they're going to hyper individualize it, and they're not going to worry about anyone else because they got to worry about themselves. They got to look out for number one, man. So I don't know. I'm pretty fucking depressed about the future of the world. My only hope is that whatever societal collapse happens, I can survive it. And hey, maybe longevity science will catch up, and maybe we'll invent a vaccine or a cure for COVID that actually functions. And maybe people will believe in germs again, but I'm not holding my hope out for it. You plan for the worst and you hope for the best. I'm not even hoping anymore. I'm just planning for the worst. And that means living the rest of our lives in the Twilight Zone. That means, again, think about the torch and the dimly lit flame, but for sanity. Because staying sane in an insane world is itself a fucking monumental and daunting task. And, you may sound a little insane in the process, but hey, I believe in germs, so I'm sitting confident with that one. The Earth, a sphere, germs, actually real, and the ball's in your court on that one. But there you go.